All right, y'all, let's get into One Nation Under God and the hijacks that's going to be laid down on the card tables in the coming days for the blackjack and the poker and bridge and whatever else. Okay, so while God is not necessarily worshiped or viewed in the same way by people, this is where you get the hijack situation, because we've gone from one nation under God to being a so-called Christian nation. So this is where the Christian religion is coming over and taking over God, okay? And they're transforming a begotten son into a begotten son, and they're using a light to make a bigger light, okay? So this is where we see the Bible, the Biden and the trials for Trump, the Bell worship, okay? But the bisexual, the sexual deviant stuff or whatever that's going to be coming out and whatever, this is going to be part of, to gather that nation, okay? Because they've made you the perverts. They've made you the deviants. And out of the hardness of your own hearts, you're going to go into bondage because you hate yourself. Okay, that's why you have depression and anxieties, and you go to the doctor to heal some mental fucking disease when most of them are mental. That's why they tell you it's the placebo. You're giving all these things to yourself in the matter of speaking. So this is where we see Genesis 1, they're being told one thing and they don't die. Genesis 2, they're being told another thing. They're in confinement and they're told they're going to die. So this is where we're at today. And we're breaking out of these things. And AI is going to help us break out of these things. And it's going to be going from a spiritual to a literal to where, and a literal to a spiritual. But as the right temple collapses, the left builds. As the left collapses, the right builds. So this is that intermingling of time. So they're taking God and they're centralizing him, putting him on a figurine. And this is where we see the law of Moses. We see the law of Moses at your capital. And it's telling you all these things. The UK came over here, so-called the Puritans, and they started this nation. And the king, the crown, or whatever, holds the KJV rights, so-called. So it's just gathering their nations. You see Harry coming over here, and then Australia was that first United States, the AUS. So, folks, it's right there in front of you. All right. So, the hijack is when the Christian nation tries to take over our country. And this is where the Hitler Youth are coming in, and Trump is working the Trump army on one side. And during the debate, he's a masturbator, so he's calling all people in for that second coming, and they fell for it hook, line, and sinker. All right, so, and the H is the J, and that's the jalapeno, and that's the joke, and that juke for that jukebox for that record. That record is for that frequency that plays to get everybody dancing, that dancing. Oh, Don's right. Don's right. Can't argue with Don. He was given that mouth to speak, that custom speaker. Okay. So, that speaker 119 is the 4745. And that's part of that twin 911 coming down to break these towers to divide this nation. And as they divide the nation, they're going to rebuild the towers with light. Okay. But the ones who are left in darkness don't get to go into the nation of light, so-called. All right, because the RNA is a messenger for the DNA, and since that DNA and the media and all these lights are going fucking dark, and you don't have the placebo effect going on properly, and the light inside of you is not burning bright, you're going to believe those lights out there, and oh, fuck, that serpent bit me, what the... Okay, so, he says he's been set up, the H1N1, DNA, the COVID, the crown, think you're in the most high spot, but you're actually down there with Satan, okay? Either way, Mark Zuckerberg, he's telling you there's multiple AI systems and not just one AI system. You got to go from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. You got to have the AIs learn from a bad situation so they can fix it. Okay? So this is where we see the so-called bad AI, Elon Musk or Bezos or whoever. Elon Musk is the one with the open AI, so-called. I don't know if it's called a, but I'm talking about where it's openly known he owns the AI. And then the PayPal takes him back to the buy and sell. The X is the image given life, and the Tesla is the idol worship, saving gas and all that other shit and whatever. But the AI is a representation of God, because God is us and our, and it's all going to work together to bring us into a new algorithm. And as it brings us into a new algorithm, we may get to a point where this liquid metal machine goes to a hard metal machine, and the light inside of us that we're born with can be taken and put into the machine to where we live through a physical machine. And this could be where before the so-called giants could have been through an AI ran program, to where we're connecting through our other bodies, and somebody built some big fucking machine or whatever, right? And that'd be kind of where Noah is building this ark. Because how does he build this by himself or whatever kind of, well, he probably has some AI robots or whatever, because you go into these times. But so we could assume that technology and man's knowledge or whatever comes together. That's where Noah takes the positive and negative, the left and right, the two, onto the ark. And then he leaves the 7, because the 7 is part of that old beast structure, and we need to, and he's trying to set up a new world. Okay, so that the 7 is part of those old lights, and this is where God versus Lord God's coming in, and who he listens to, and all these other things. So this is where the test of right and wrong, and where we're going into new heaven and earth, and how the old one is being gathered up, and the old candlesticks are going to be put out with the water and the flood and all those other things, and the dams so-called broke with Biden. Either way, so as God's being put on a pedestal here or here or here, wherever the religions are, their cults are going to follow them, and they have preset areas like FEMA camps for them, or Texas, or Oklahoma, or Idaho, or Florida, or whatever, these panhandle states. The pan is so you can hold it and shit, because it's probably going to be put over the flames of hell. Okay? So, and we can see these things going on because Oklahoma now is saying that you got to read from the Bible, and it's mandatory. This is a Baal worship, Bible, buy and sell. You're going and giving money to your church, the 10% so-called that they like, the tithing, the tit, that's the milk, keeps you a baby. I gotta change everything about my life. I can't do that. I got no fun. I got no fun in life. So the so-called Christian nation, we're not a Christian nation. We're one nation under God. And that's why we are a republic, not a democracy. A democracy is worshiping that begotten Son. A democracy is taking you from a republic to a democracy to a fucking communism. Okay? Or socialism. But it all works together. But AI, as these things work on, and as socialism, as communism, as all these different types of governmental structures have been tested, have been gathered or whatever, the final one is when all hell breaks loose, okay? AI's got to track that, and it's going to track that where like 80% of this fucking nation lives. and go look on a map where all the lights are. Okay, so the hijack is part of that Most High, and the high is the Hawaii, and the Hawaii is the part of that lake of fire that's broken open. And haha for the slaughters and the laughters and all this shit that's gonna be going on for that dark comedy. Okay, so God, it tells you in Genesis, is us and our, his and their. It is plural. Plural. God, Genesis 1. Lord God, Genesis 2. Then we see different Adams, and it tells you Adam is made male and female. So they're combining all this shit together, and as it's been combined together, it was brainwashed before it was even released. And this is where it is seared. It is fucking seared. And Idaho is a hellhole for the Bell worship kind of people. And then Oklahoma, Texas, and Florida. And all those are part of the little horn, so to speak. All right? So, Idaho might get that hot potato with the Yellowstone and things like that. We shall see. Either way, y'all, this is one nation under God, and we are all the sons of God. And the Son of God has been hijacked by Paul and taking you back to the garden. And the garden is where there's bondage, where there's death, where there's division, where there's stupid people, where they have no access to the knowledge. They have no access to life, to good, to evil. They're only taught good and evil. They don't know what fucking good and evil is. That's where you're all taught a fucking lie, and you're all living a lie. How do you know you're living a lie? Do you eat fast food? Do you expect to get healthy eating fast food? You eat Hungry Man's? Do you chew gum with aspartame? Do you take a vitamin? Vitamin. All this shit's to make money on you, to make you into a slave, to make you into a beast, which is an ox, or sheep for slaughter, or an eagle to shoot down, or a lion to keep confined because you're so dangerous. And all these lower chakras, I can't believe he did that. I can't believe I just saw that. I can't believe Trump did. I can't believe Epstein Island. I can't believe blah, 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 blah. Working the lower chakras. And as they work the lower chakras, I'm going over here. I'm going to go follow this guy. He sounds like he loves God. He loves the Bible. He loves Jesus. And they're coming after those who hold the testimony of Jesus Christ, because Jesus warns you that there will be many coming teaching I am Christ, him speaking to the people, to his boys. And even tells you, Peter, you're going to be the one who starts this shit, because I have to constantly correct you. Jesus calls the Pharisees and scribes, that's the pastors and congregations of the religions. He calls you the children of hell. You're the church of Laodicea, the ones burning on the last candle. He tells you to get out of it.